It's nearly bedtime. I'm just watching some silly Star Trek reviews, smoking a little bit, and just...
Like everyone else, the doctor praises Seven's parents for how impressive they were, and like everyone else is surprised that Seven resents spending most of her life as a drone thanks to their mistakes. And because she may have to now voluntarily return to the Borg, well, obviously that's a bit of a sore spot for her. But there's no time to waste because Janeway's log informs us that Operation Fort Knox will begin soon, so all departments are ready. Even though none of them will actually be doing anything that matters. Maybe it's just to rub it in. Speaking of Janeway's diplomacy, she talks with Seven for a while.
Well, it looked like you could use him. No. It's a human rights you might want to try with him. Fix a show.
Want some smack? How about a war? Feel like gambling? I played craps against Harry yesterday. He won, so I let him keep his hands. Janeway's decided Seven should stay behind, but Seven is adamant that she must go on the mission. Janeway finally gives in and the plan begins. Thanks to advanced Heinemann technology, they send out a remote-controlled shuttlecraft and eventually convince the Borg to assimilate it. While it's being taken, the shields drop so they can beam over. But the words of the Borg Queen cause a pucker moment for Seven. She quickly recovers and everything goes as planned. The pattern and answer even works, despite there only being one of them instead of the three to make the triangle they've always used before. On the way out, Seven hears her again and knows what's going to happen, so she announces that she's staying behind. Well, Janeway doesn't want to see Seven get hurt, so she points her gigantic gun at her and tells her to come along. But the Borg have now detected Voyager, and Seven is cut off by a force field, so Janeway has to abandon Seven. Hey, is that one of those new phasers? Can I take a closer look? Yeah, fine. The other three beam out, the sphere makes a break for it before Voyager can pursue. The sphere returns to the center of Borg activity, called the Unicomplex, a ginormous structure they've built seemingly in the middle of nowhere. Seven's brought to an area where a giant dominatrix Barbie is assembled, and the Borg Queen lowered in place. 7 of 9 is a character who stands between her two natures. Being Borg has given her countless advantages over her shipmates, a frequent immunity to threats such as we saw in 1, enhanced physical strength, near-perfect recall, and heightened reflexes. And yet, 7 is clearly superior to other drones, specifically because of her humanity. Her individuality compels her to take actions that they wouldn't because they would be inefficient or small, but that makes her more adaptive. 7's neither Borg nor human. She's an alloy of the two. Janeway and the Borg Queen seem to miss that fact. Each sees their nature within her and the need to purge the other, which may explain why 7 resists both of their efforts. A loss of either one diminishes her in the end. The Queen's comments are similar to those of Janeway back in The Gift, only reversed, that the humans have disassembled her in an effort to rebuild her like themselves. She also reveals that allowing 7 to be separated from the collective by Chakotay was actually something the Borg permitted so that she could learn more about humanity from a Borg perspective. You might have noticed that the Queen looks different than the one we saw in First Contact. This particular model will be seen until the start of Voyager's final season, after which we'll see the return of the original model. It could perhaps be that the Queens are chosen based upon how well they are functioning. With the model from First Contact twice failing in the simple task of assimilating Earth, and the collective then facing a threat from species 8472, the Borg may have activated a Queen that was far more aggressive and expansionist in its approach to counter that threat, given that we see the Borg far more often acting in larger numbers now, expanding rapidly even in the wake of their crippling losses, and that she would eventually be replaced when it was clear that her behavior was causing more losses than was permissible for the gains that the Borg were making. After all, she seemed content to hound Voyager from the end of Scorpion until we last saw her in Unimatrix Zero, which she blew up a tactical cube for no reason. And then the next time the Borg show up, all that Queen is interested in is for Voyager to just piss off and leave them alone. Back on Voyager, Janeway's checking out engineering's new baptismal font, guaranteed to get Voyager home through the power of the Holy Ghost. Janeway's impressed with Torres' approach to using the transwarp coil, and Torres confesses that she got some of the ideas when she was digging through 7's personal database. Janeway orders her not to access personal files without permission. When Torres figures if someone's gone, there's no law that she can't just read through their stuff. But did you know that Kiss liked to write Twilight fanfics? After repeated attempts to get her to see the point, Janeway finally just orders her to try to stop being a complete bitch. She's having trouble figuring out why 7 would do this.
had a number of opportunities to leave before now.
Never direct access to a Borg vessel. What? What about hope and fear when they knew the Borg were coming, and it was Seven that managed to get out and help them avoid assimilation? The only way no one would know about that is if Janeway left Seven out and said that she did all the rescuing. Which I suppose would actually explain this, so never mind. She can't be consoled about how her project with Seven just didn't work out. I thought it'd be simple. I already taught the mutant how to love. It wasn't love, it tried to rape a shuttlecraft. Well, if the Galileo didn't look like such a whore, Cascote wouldn't have tried that. Felix, for God knows what reason, is handling all the Borg stuff.
Seven, my job. He acquires a lot of power over the bigger ones. Should I deactivate it?
No. But it uses a lot of power. Hey, toilet brush, you know what doesn't take a lot of power? Me whooping your ass. She heads back to her ready room to try to figure out if something compelled Seven to leave. After all, the crew has been taught time and time again that the only escape from Janeway's grasp is death itself. Naomi's put together a rescue plan to try to track down Seven in her own precocious way, but Janeway quickly shoots the plan down. What happened then? For the Crewville, they say, Captain Crunch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day.
There are 3 things to remember about being a starship, Captain. Keep your shirt tucked in. Go down with the ship. And never abandon a member of your crew.
I like you, Naomi. You're shorter than me. Perhaps I'll let you rule the world at my side. Want some cigarettes? No, thank you. You should try it. It's another great human vice. To again mirror the gift, where Seven had pieces removed while she was sleeping, she now awakens to find the Borg have added some more on. Again, she's indignant, but the Queen assures her that she won't turn into a drone again. I was critical of the use of the Queen in First Contact, so it might seem contradictory to compliment her use with Seven here. The difference between the situations, though, are that her use here is not as an enemy that they oppose, so much as a devil that is meant to tempt Seven. Now, I know that she tried that with Data as well, but that was only part of her function in the film, and what's more, it was a temptation that Data had already faced in past to betray his friends and ship for new sensations. Seven had wanted to return to the Collective for some time, and now the Queen is offering ways to pull her back in without having to sacrifice individuality. She's tempting Seven with a chance to keep the part of individuality that she cherishes, which is her unique sense of self, while still having all the positives of the Collective, themes with benefits and all that. But really, look at what happened to Seven since she left. She's forced to tolerate the verbal abuse of Torres. The warp core malfunctions, and Janeway immediately figures it must be Seven sabotaging it. The crew on the one hand criticizes her for not acting human, but on the other constantly calling her Borg, never seeing past the implants. Say what you like about them, but the Borg never turn on their own. The Borg never mistreat each other, the Borg never lie to each other, the Borg never have an ulterior motive. The Borg are free of all prejudices. They don't allow them as suspicion, but bring all men as equals. They'll spare you from pain, protect you from those who would harm you. If the Borg decide that you are too valuable to be lost, Seven, then there are trillions of drones that will stand between you and danger. You lose nothing of what you had and gain back everything that was lost. Why should someone whose home is a cargo bay that's standing up want to resist that? The Queen wants Seven to help them assimilate humanity, but Seven doesn't understand why the memories they've no doubt taken from her while she regenerated wouldn't be enough.
You are the only Borg that has ever returned your statement to his brother.
What about Locutus? Well, I never liked him. The fellow members of my Unimatrix? Good riddance. While there was Hugh, he was malfunctioning. He kept saying third instead of 3. And all the other drones on his ship, they worshipped an android. They're dead to me. And then there's that whole colony Chakotay ran into. Bunch of hippies. Look, you are unique, Seven. Really, you unique. The Queen decides to first work on reminding Seven of their purpose by taking her out for a little assimilation. Kind of a mother-daughter thing. The Queen's yacht is deployed and accompanied by 2 cubes to assimilate.
I think I'm gonna stay awake for at least one more video, maybe another. Not sure exactly. Right now I'm folding handkerchiefs. I haven't done this one yet. I washed them today because this one was making my head itch, and fuck that shit.
So she waits as the opposing ships attack with weapons that are capable of penetrating their shields.